Hi guys, it's Monica. I don't know if anyone's going to be joining me. I know Saturdays are kind of hard for people. So I don't know if I should just jump right into it. Yeah, I'm going to jump right into it, all right? So, anyway, I'm here. I wanted to give you guys I hate using my phone, but my computer's camera's not working. So I have to use my phone. Anyway, so I wanted to do my 39-week pregnancy update. For those of you who are new to my, if you're on YouTube watching this, because I'm going to upload this onto YouTube a little bit later. So if you're new to my channel or you're new to my blog, Is It Nap Time Yet? My name is Monica, and I am currently 39 weeks pregnant with my 5th baby. Let me see if I can get up here. Okay. Give you guys a belly shot. There is the little one. We are Team Green. That means we are not finding out baby's gender until it's born. So I've got nothing to tell you on that front. We are planning our first home birth with this baby. So that's going to be exciting. Oh, I see somebody's here. Hi. I also wanted to let you know at some point during the video, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and type those down in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. So, let me grab my notebook here because I have my questions written down. So anyway, so I'm doing a home birth, or planning to, so hopefully everything works out with that. So far everything is great, and my midwife came over yesterday to do our prenatal visit, so I have some updates for you guys. She had told me when she saw a picture I had posted on Instagram, because I wasn't feeling, I don't remember what day it was, I think it was last weekend or last Monday. I wasn't feeling real good. I was having a rough day, and so I just posted a belly shot, and she had seen it and said she had just been over the Friday before, and she saw the picture and she was like, girl, that baby has dropped since I saw you a couple days ago. So she is getting excited. I don't know if she thought I'd make it this far, being my 5th. I think she kind of thought maybe we'd be going sooner, especially I have a lot of contractions starting early on. No major contractions, but something. So, but little bunny's hanging in there. Their official due date, the estimated due date, is April 15th. So that is Saturday. Next Saturday. She has it written down as my due date is next Friday. So around then is when we're estimating I'll be delivering, but baby can come anytime. And she said if I haven't delivered by 41 weeks, we're going to start looking into some natural ways to induce the labor. And because where I live, you can, and most places, I think most states, you can't do a home birth after 42 weeks. So we want to get the process started where I'm able to still do the home birth. But, so here is what I have for you guys. So, start with some of the boring stuff. I'm looking at my notebook. My blood pressure, so I mean it's boring, but it's still important stuff. My blood pressure has gone up a little bit. It's usually like 110 over 60, 100 over 60, which is kind of on the low end. But like she said, she'd rather have me on the low end and feeling good than to be having it too high. But this visit, my blood pressure was 128 over 70. But back to, like I said, like I haven't been feeling real good lately. I'm just thinking I've turned that corner. I think I'm just really starting to get ready for labor. And Maybe I'm getting a little anxious. Maybe that's why my blood pressure has gone up a little bit. I'm not sure, but she's very happy with it. Baby has dropped. So a lot of people say that the baby only drops early on for your first pregnancy, but subsequent pregnancies, the baby doesn't drop down until active labor is starting. But every baby is different, and so I've been, baby dropped for me almost a week ago, and here I am. I'm still here, and baby is holding on strong, and so I have nothing. I thought for sure like baby would be coming last week, and down here in Atlanta we were having really bad storms, so the midwife, my doula, everyone was kind of nervous because it was really bad tornado weather, and so we were nervous that baby was going to come during that time, but luckily they did not. So let's see. I have gained weight this time. If you've been following along, I've been having a pretty healthy pregnancy. I haven't gained a huge amount of weight. And in fact, I kept losing for a while in like the late second trimester, or third trimester up until now. I've been pretty much losing weight. So total before was, she said, at my last visit, she told me I had gained 11 pounds total. But this time I gained almost 2 pounds since my last visit a week ago. And so I was kind of bummed about that. I was like, that's a big jump in my weight when, I've been so slow, been losing. But she said, that's fine. And actually, Antonio, my husband, he's thinking it might be water retention, because I'm not swelling up a lot, but we have noticed my feet are kind of swelling, so we're not sure a little bit. I mean, I'm still fitting in all my shoes and everything, but we're wondering if maybe that's what it is. So total weight gain this pregnancy as of 39 weeks is 13 pounds. Baby is head down and locked in. She said that head is ready to go. It's that head down and it's not turning back around. So that's good. There's not going to be any breech baby, which would also eliminate me for a home birth option. So luckily baby is cooperating and they are head down. And yes, they have dropped to prove it, she was measuring my fundal height, and every week I'm right on track of where I should be. For example, in case you're not familiar with that, when they measure your fundal height, that's from like your pelvic bone up to the top of your uterus, and it should correspond in centimeters with how many weeks along you are. So when I'm 37 weeks, I was measuring 37 centimeters. I believe it's centimeters. Yeah, centimeters. And so I'm used to her telling me like, okay, well, it's our 37-week appointment and you're measuring 37 centimeters. Easy peasy. And this visit, she measured and she was smiling. She's like, so I'm 39 weeks, and she's like, you're measuring about 38. Yeah. I'm sorry. Now I'm tired and I'm trying to think. About between 38 and 39, I think, is what she said. And so I kind of got worried. I was like, that's smaller than it was, than it should be. And she said, no, remember, baby has dropped. And she was like, they're actually further down than that too. She was like, the baby it's just I was laying down and baby's kind of floating in the water. So she said, baby, that's just proof that baby has dropped, that I'm not measuring at 40 weeks. I'm measuring a little less because baby has gone down. Let's see. She was trying to find the heartbeat, and baby gave her a very hard time. Last week, she also had a hard time, and I have been telling her and that they never made any comment with Mari and Christian, but with Austin and Levi, they have said, I had a lot of water in my bag of waters, and to the point when I had Levi, the hospital midwife and the nurse were laughing like almost hysterically. There was just more and more water, and they kept pushing because they had to break my water. And every time they pushed to get the water out, it just tons of water came flying out, and they just kept laughing. They said there was no end in sight. And so the midwife said, Christine, my midwife now, my home birth midwife, she said she was having a hard time finding it, and we knew baby was okay. They were kicking around in there, moving, and while she was trying to find it, and she's like, I just can't find it. And so she finally picked it up, and she said, you know what I think it is? She's like, I think that you have a lot of water in there. She said, that is a main indicator. She's like, when we can't find the heartbeat. I mean, she was feeling all the body parts. She knew exactly where to put the, what is it, the transducer, the little microphone thing. She knew where to put it. The heartbeat just wasn't coming through. You know, it took a while. And she said that typically happens when you have a ton of water in there. And so she was like, you know, I had told her, and she was like, yeah, that's kind of proving that that's what it is. She had mentioned before she wanted me to get an ultrasound so they could measure the fluid. And I thought there was a problem because I kept telling her that I always have a ton of water. And she was like, she's like, the curiosity, you know, the curious side of me really wants to have you get an ultrasound just to measure the fluid, because I am so curious how much water you've got in there. So I think after yesterday, she's really curious. And so she was just feeling, you know, feeling my stomach and the baby. And she said, yeah, you definitely, she's like, there is more water than baby in there. So that can be a bad thing when it comes to like the cord. I've heard, get wrapped around the baby's neck easier when you have a lot of fluid, but that's never been an issue for me, thank God. But the issue it does cause for me is it slows my labors down. So I'm sorry if you can see me. I'm looking at myself on my phone and not up at the camera. So I'm sorry if I'm not like making eye contact really well. But it slows my labors down a lot. And so when I looked it up, like, why would that slow it down? I have to hold my phone, so I can't use my other phone. But, you know, you have your cervix and the baby's head. When you're in labor, when the baby is coming down, you know, descending, as you're thinning out and dilating, the baby's head will be touching your cervix, and that stimulates the cervix to begin contracting, dilating even more. And like just the baby's head bumping on it just stimulates that. And because I have so much fluid, the baby's head doesn't really reach that point where it's consistently hitting my cervix and making me dilate more. So I'm typically stuck on 6 centimeters for my past labors, and then they break my water. And I've always been medicated, which, you know, an epidural. And I've heard that can actually slow things down even more. Well, when they break my water, I go from 6 to 10, like pushing, in about an hour. And so we're very interested to see, without the epidural slowing things down, how much faster is that going to go. So we don't know if it's going to be a really fast process. Christine does not like to break your bag of water. She just wants everything to go naturally. However, in my case, we might have to, because of the baby's head not being able to touch down on the cervical, like the lid, like, yeah, you know what I mean. It's not pushing down, so she may have to break the water just to get things rolling even faster, and that will take me straight through. But she did end up finding the heartbeat, and baby's heart rate was in the 150s to 160s. And she said super strong, and it had great accelerations. We would talk to it, and I would tickle my belly, and they would just start moving around, and their heartbeat would be going up and down and just sounding perfect. Let me see if I'm missing anything. I've had lots of contractions, but none on a consistent basis. The other day I had what is worse, prodromal labor, which is when you go to the hospital thinking you're in labor and it just stops, like your contractions could be 3 to 5 minutes apart, you're doing good, strong, and then it just stops. And the hospital's like, I'm sorry, you need to go home now. You're not in labor. And they tell you it's false labor. Well, this is, hi Brenda, hi. This is not false labor. There's nothing false about it. Your body is getting ready for labor, like for delivery. It is doing its job. It's exercising and getting ready. So it hit me last Sunday. I had been walking a lot, and my contractions were not consistent. With some cases of prodromal labor, they are on a regular, every 3 minutes or every 5 minutes, and super strong, and it can really trick a mom into thinking she's in labor. Mine were they were between 2 to 6 minutes apart. Like they would go back and forth, and it was starting to make us nervous because this is our 5th labor. You would think we would know for sure, but we didn't. We were just starting to get nervous. I was also feeling very nauseous, which is a sign of active labor. And so I was actually carrying a bucket with me. I was so scared. It was that bad. I was scared I wasn't going to make it, but I was also having contractions. So I was trying to sit on my birthing ball and walk around, trying to, if it was real labor, get it speeded up. If it was not real labor, I was hoping to slow it down. And I'm sorry, like, the comments are over me, so if I'm, like, flashing you all, I apologize. Let me try to... So that lasted about an hour, and we were really starting to get nervous and talking about calling the midwife. But I just told him, I said, they're not really consistent. And to me, they weren't strong like you would imagine that. Like, I've always been on an epidural during active labor. About 5 centimeters usually I get an epidural, and for them to be like several minutes apart, I was thinking, no, this is not right. They should be a lot stronger than this. So we held off on calling her, and I ended up falling asleep. I waited. They started to slow down a little bit more. They were still hitting, but I was like, well, let me just go lay down, and I ended up falling asleep with the phone. I have a contraction timer app on my phone, and I ended up falling asleep with my phone in my hand. I was just exhausted. And I've been waking up in the middle of the night, usually around 2 a.m. with like the prodromal labor. Like the contractions will begin hitting. They wake me up. They're not super painful, but enough to wake me up. And so Christine thinks I'll probably be going into labor in the middle of the night, since that's when they're typically hitting. And that's when this prodromal labor is getting started and really kicking in is in the evening, like later in the evening, like I think last Sunday was probably around 11 o'clock. So we're probably not going to be getting a whole lot of sleep when I go into active labor. It'll probably be in the middle of the night. But so otherwise, I'm not having anything that's making me want to time them, because you don't want to just be sitting on the edge of your seat every time you have a contraction. I've learned that the hard way. It makes it go a lot longer. So I just try to go about whatever I'm doing. If it's nighttime, I try to go back to sleep. If it's during the day, I just do whatever needs to be done, and we'll see what happens. And they just usually go away. But what that is all leading up to is Christine was very curious as to if I have begun dilating and effacing yet. And I said, well, we both know that doesn't mean anything if you check me, because a mom can go from 0 centimeters to fully dilated in just a few hours. And she said, I do know that. She was like, because Christine is very good. I don't mean to make her sound like, she was just like, I am curious. She was like, if you have even begun, with all that you've got going on, these contractions, I'm wondering if, what they're working at. So we did a quick exam and she checked me, and I am, as of yesterday, dilated 3.5 centimeters, and I am 60% effaced. So I'm getting there. She said probably, I think she's thinking probably by next weekend I will have had the baby, and next weekend I will be 40 weeks. So we don't think I'll be going over, but we will see. Babies come in their own time. And so, yeah, that's about all that's going on. I don't have a timer on here. I've been talking a long time, but that's what's going on so far at 39 weeks. And I've got my home birth stuff all organized, because I needed to organize it by what I'm going to need during labor and what I'm going to need postpartum. And I'm going to be I meant to do it yesterday or the day before at some point in time. I meant to wash diapers because I'm going to be cloth diapering. And I meant to wash the diapers, but I haven't yet. So I need to go do that in a little bit. And I'm going over, make sure everything's good. But yep, I told you everything that was on my list. So I don't know if anyone has any questions. If you do, feel free to ask them now in the comments, and I can answer any questions you guys might have. But maybe I've already answered everything. I know I got some people on my private Facebook page thinking I was in labor because they knew that I've been having a lot of contractions, and Christine was coming yesterday, and I thought I was going to have it too because I started having contractions right before she came. But nope. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm still here. Baby's still in my belly, going strong. And there was something I was going to say about that, but I don't remember. So, yeah, just... Oh, she said because after a day of, like, on Sundays we walk a lot. And that's my day I get out of the house. And I was. Now I don't know because we don't know when the baby will be here. But so far, like on Sundays, we walk a lot. Like I'll be walking 2 to 3 hours with breaks in between. But, I'll be walking a lot. And that's when I'm having a lot of activity. And so she said I am definitely going to be one of the ones that benefits from walking the baby out. And so she's been telling me the whole pregnancy, but she's really emphasizing it now. She wants me walking 30 minutes a day to just get the ball rolling. And I'll be honest, I was nervous to walk before because walking does cause a lot of contractions for me, some of them very painful. Like I'll be not like screaming painful, but just like I can't walk at that moment. I have to just breathe through it. Sometimes leaning over the shopping cart and just let it just ride out the rush. But I was nervous to be walking before because I wasn't ready for the baby to be born yet, and I had a lot to do. So I didn't want to walk and, stimulate the baby to come out. So, but as of last night, after our visit, Mari and I went out. It was actually dark, and we walked up and down the driveway for 30 minutes. And I had a lot of cramping and a lot of contractions when we finished. Like during the walk, I was contracting, and so we had to take some breaks. And then when I came in, I was having kind of like menstrual type cramps, it felt like, which is an indicator of labor. So I was like, oh, did that do it? But it didn't. It went away. I had contractions and all that, but it just eventually kind of just petered out. But so yeah, so that's where I'm at now, and I don't know if I'll have another weekly update before the baby gets here, but I wanted to give this update to you guys now while I have it and before I have the baby. So, all right, guys. Well, nobody has any questions in the comments, so I'm just going to end this video, and I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to give the video a thumbs up if you like this little update. And yeah, I think the poll is already over on my website. I had a gender poll going for people to guess what they thought the baby was, what they think the baby's gonna be. So I think that's over though, because I wasn't sure when I was gonna have it. So, All right, guys. Well, I'm so excited. Thumbs up if you're excited too to find out. And, oh, Brenda, keep walking. Yes, I will keep walking, and she's excited for the baby to come. I'm sad. Brenda in the comments she was actually supposed to be here this week and visiting, but I was just nervous. I didn't want her to come all the way down here, and you know, I'm not sure how I would do in labor with anyone else here, and because I'm an introvert and I'm scared. I've never had anyone with me for labor other than Antonio. My mom was there for a couple of labors, but I prefer just really Antonio and I'm nervous. This will be my first labor with a doula, so we'll see how I do with that too. But Brenda just had surgery, and so she was going to come down during her recovery, and I hope you're doing good, Brenda. You've been in our prayers. And I'm sorry you weren't able to come down this time, but hopefully soon we'll be able to see each other, and you'll be able to see the baby, and hopefully I'll be able to show you guys the baby soon too. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.